Today we are completing that 2TC achievement using both the Wizard Lord Phoenix and the M.A.D. We're going to go up to Fireball so that we have another means of attack, and we have the means of popping lead balloons early in the game. Round 9. This could give us a few issues here just because of how sporadic the blue balloons and the green balloon spawns are, but that seems to be pretty good. Now with the Dartling Gunner placement, I want him at the back of the map just so that we're able to cover the entirety of this field rather than putting, let's say, the M.A.D. over here or over here, and then it has a trouble time reaching at the back of the map here, whereas if I place him over here, it's able to reach every single portion of the track, and because I've placed him above ground, just like with the Wizard, it means we're going to be able to affect any part of the track with our attacks rather than just a portion of it. This video is most likely going to be the last one before update 45 comes out. Who knows? It may even release on a Thursday or something. I never know. 99% of my experience, it always releases on a Wednesday. The day that I always work on for 8 hours, and I cannot say to work, hey, I can't come in because of Balloons Tower Defense 6 and a new update coming out. That's no excuse. But let's get Monkey Sense. We've already upgraded you to 110 so that we can target camo balloons with both of our towers, because having the ability to target camo balloons when you only have 2 towers to begin with is very important. For Wall of Fire, this spot is kind of worse, but I tried placing the Wizard Monkey over here and I could not get round 9 to work for the life of me. Like, always one red balloon or a red balloon and a blue balloon always escapes to the exit. There we go, round 28, and lead balloons wiped out. I want to do Dragon's Breath first before we get anything else, just because it's a really good source of damage. Here we go, Dragon's Breath up and running. Now we're going to get some Hydra rocket pods, just so that we can pop any kind of balloon. It has the normal damage type, and we can circumvent our purple issues much more easily than just sticking to a base Dartling Gunner, which is any upgrade that is tier 2 or below. Let me know in the comment sections below if you're excited for the new boss, which will be coming in update 45, which is Blaster Populus. And looking at some of the early access videos, it's a very interesting boss, and one where for the first time, you know those sticky bombs that you usually rely on for like early stage Lunarius? Well, it's going to be completely useless, because it's like if the sticky bomb itself melts upon contact with the boss itself. Essentially is a DOT blocker, so your fire status, your glue status, they will be nullified by Blaster Populus. Okay, round 39. We should have the firepower needed to go through round 40 as we stand with these 2 tier 3 towers, and yeah, that's easily sorted. And keep the Dartling Gunner locked over here so that any purple balloons which are going around the circle will be eradicated. And the new ancient portal map, I swear to you, is going to be very good for 2 megapops, because you can use one side of the bottom portion of a track for your early game and then switch to the other side in order to do all of your late game, so that the towers you place in the earlier sections of the game are not going to affect the late game. Right, let's summon our Phoenix. Well, not the ability quite yet, but let's just get the Summon Phoenix upgrade up and running. Oh, and speaking of Blaster Populus, the middle path Wizard is going to be a very poor choice if you want to not raise its gauge up. In fact, anything fire related or energy related or plasma related, so let's say your bottom path Dartling Gunner, that's going to be a poor choice unless you get to Ray of Doom, because that's the normal damage type. But then again, the laser damage over time, that would be bad for preventing it from raising its... well, the DOT is going to be prevented as far as I am aware. And any towers which have like a very short amount of distance to them, so let's say of attack zone, that could be quite good against it. Ice towers. We've had 2 updates so far, well, coming up to 2 updates, where the ice tower in some way has been affected, or the the general basis of cold attacks have been affected, because with the middle path Monkey, is that it's frozen attacks like anything that freezes balloons. They cannot freeze a white balloon or a zebra balloon. And from there onwards, with update 45, it means that actually having a cold-based attack is really good, because it helps decrease the gauge of Blaster Populus. But in the later tiers, I think the rate in which you can cool Blaster Populus down is just going to go to a point where you can't actually cool it down, but just slow its advancement. Something like Elite Defender is not going to be very good, because the rocks it spawns out to surround itself and cause blockers to line of sight. That's definitely an interesting challenge. Oh, and with your boat farming, just don't buy hot shots, because that will raise its bar. So just stick to, let's say, a 014 favor trades, or it's going to be canonically known as flavor trades, because of one of the new things coming in update 45, which enables you to change the skin of the grapes and the hot shots themselves. So definitely flavor trades. I'm calling it flavor trades. Definitely flavor trades. You should do that too. Okay, round 62 is coming to a close. Round 63, this shouldn't be very difficult. Wall of Fire is soaking this up. We could use one of our abilities for round 63 if they do get past. Or just switch that. Okay, round 63. You could use the Summon Phoenix on this round. Carry over onto round 64. So, the new boss should be pretty interesting. And Ninja Kiwi will most certainly definitely have a boss scenario which is absolutely catered for the 0.01% of the community, which can do stuff very easily. But then again, in any introductory to a boss, the first boss event of that particular boss is usually a chilled out one with no restrictions, no modifiers in place. It's just you interact with it like if it's like a regular boss challenge rather than a boss event that goes on for a limited amount of time. We're going to go with Wizard Lord Phoenix, because I feel like for the early portions of this game, it's going to be a better choice than going for Mad first. I especially think of like Super Ceramics in the 80s and 90s. That's what I'm thinking of, because Wizard Lord Phoenix, I don't think I need to tell you this because you've played with these towers long enough, is that this is a far better choice of tower against ceramics than this is. But then again, when it comes to Moabs, this is predominantly the better one, but this is definitely not bad against them either. In fact, it's probably one of the best choices against any kind of balloon, as long as you're not a mixture of red and blue colors. Some of you may have noticed that I can talk quite slowly at times when it comes to these commentaries, because of the fact that I do have physical and verbal dyspraxia. So at times it can take me a long time to try and get something out, or it takes me a long time to try and think of something in order to add into the conversation. So when it comes to like, oh, you're speaking so slowly, I can't handle this, it's like, I'm really sorry, but it's not something that I can really help with. It's just something that I was innately born with. So let's say, for example, trying to innately remove the fire aspect out of a middle path wizard that is spewing out fire, and you're telling it, no, you can't shoot fire. Well, that leaves with the magical bolt aspect. So, no, thank you. By the way, you can also no longer fire your bolts, because I told you to not fire your bolts. So what do you leave with? A functionless thing going on here. And I should have used one of those abilities far sooner. God damn it, Yellow Balloon. I do get why people may or may not like somebody who talks a bit slower than most others. But A, this is not a pre-recorded scripted scenario. I'm coming up with stuff on the fly. And B, that kind of stuff is only reserved for when a scenario definitely warrants it. Okay, we lost to a Yellow Balloon, so we definitely should have used our abilities earlier on in the round there. The only way in which a scripted scenario would work is if I have this gameplay pre-recorded, and then from there add in the dialogue within a separate audio file, which just feels not as authentic. But it's not one of those scenarios where I feel like going up to that point is really beneficial. I prefer the more live and organic reaction to a scenario where I'm seeing it for real. I'm reacting it to you in real. I'm thinking of what to do in these scenarios as I am talking. So it's a lot of multitasking involved, especially if, let's say, if you have a micro heavy tower, which these two aren't too micro heavy. Like, it's mainly just between switching targeting priority at times, or changing where your locked cursor is, or having it on normal so it follows your mouse. It's not like a mortar where you need to constantly press tab and left click in order to get the best out of it. Okay, round 80. The ZOMG, and it's near that Halloween season where things get just a little bit too spooky for me. Round 95 could also be an issue, so I'm thinking about keeping this at a rocket storm until the deities appear, just so that I have some consistent fire down here with my 1 barrel of hell rather than 2 barrels of hell, which goes side to side and could end up missing, even though I could just put the cursor here and the left barrel goes here and the right barrel goes here, but I just find it a bit more consistent. Shoot it down the middle, and I feel like it's just going to be more of a guaranteed chance of popping the purple bullets on round 95. Round 95 can sometimes be a game over scenario for the 2 tower chimps combination which you would like to do, and it could be either down to the DTs or the purples and leads early on the round, or the combination of both. It could even be that you struggled with the first portion, so therefore the second portion being the DTs, you have absolutely no chance of going through that scenario. Okay, so I'm going to start using the Wizard Lord Phoenix ability just like I did with round 80, just to whittle down the HP of the ZMGs enough, and this has a pretty quick cooldown anyway, so I don't need to worry about preserving it. And it's not the only mode class killer within this entire run. Round 87, do the same thing, but obviously twice as many balloons as there are around 85. It's just a straight upgrade from round 85. Round 88, sometimes we may need to do a little bit of microing with our rocket storm in case any ceramics get past the wall of fire, which we encountered twice. Just with ZMG's live. Can we do it without using the warp ability? So I'd like to use it for the next round. But maybe I am fueling myself with false hope. No, that's actually pretty good. Okay, I'm going to use the ability now. And hopefully we're left with some fortified BFBs left for the end of this round. But I feel like what we've got going on here is okay. Do we need to have it for round 90? No, we do have it for round 90. Perhaps we can... no, we'll keep Rocket Storm actually. We'll keep it for round 91 because of all the ceramics that we have on this round. Perhaps we don't even need Rocket Storm for this round. Do we need the Wolf ability though? That is a good question. I don't like some of these ceramics. I don't know if they're freshly spawned from Moabs or if they're ones which I've already passed with this big circle once. Okay, I'm going to use the ability now. And if you're a newer player to this game, notice where the Phoenix spawns when you use the ability. That is based upon where the last Phoenix despawned. Oh, I need to use the ability now. Just you super fortified ones. Don't like them, but they're part of the game. They're part of the chimps experience. You overcome the challenges which are in front of you. Don't try and make the challenges easier by setting your modifiers down to a certain degree to make it artificially easier. No, the challenge is there to make you feel like you want to, I don't know, want to step on some Lego because that's less painful. In some scenarios, I would rather step on Lego. So let's say with the Crossbow Master and Ultra Boost 2 Tower Chimps that I did, a lot of the time around 99, before actually getting but one successful run, I would rather have stepped on Lego, to be honest, and try to continue to fathom out the perfect microing for that particular scenario. Can we do round 94 without stepping on some Lego? Find out next time on a 2 Tower Chimps without a spike battery, hopefully. There we go, round 95. I'm going to keep you as a Rocket Storm. And then once the purples have expired, we're going to switch to the M.A.D. There we go. We should not have any more troubles when it comes to Moab class balloons. We have the ultimate killer of Moabs in the form of the M.A.D. 96 here. So this should be pretty trivial now. There shouldn't be a problem on our hands. We should be able to do this as long as the water fire is able to deal with the ceramics, or the majority of the ceramics, so that the roaming phoenix that we have here can take care of the rest. Okay, round 97 should not be a problem whatsoever. We're doing a lot of damage per missile against these behemoths. Round 98. You know what? Let's use both abilities at the same time on this round and just watch the absolute annihilation of the ZMGs and a lot of the fortified BFBs as well. That's pretty nice. Use 2 abilities. It is a guaranteed success. Round 99. Fortified DETs. Absolutely no problem whatsoever here. Round 100. That was almost a miss on that scenario. Let's just use both abilities and see how quickly we can take down the P-80. And my god, they just entered a big circle there with some total damage missing because of the despawning of phoenixes whenever they disappeared from the screen. So that, folks, is one of the easier 2-tower chimps in which you can do. It's probably like top 10 like most recorded 2-tower chimps of this particular achievement, just because of how versatile it is. Just because the 100 rocket pods is able to overcome the one weakness in which this has, which are purple balloons. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed this scenario. Thank you ever so much for watching, and hopefully the next video we are going to be popping or even like being introduced to a certain fiery boss event or boss balloon. It's actually the last one to be reintroduced from a previous game. Whereas if Ninja Kiwi were going to introduce even more bosses from this point onwards, then it's going to have to be a completely original boss, like with, let's say, Lich or with Phase. So hopefully we can phase out of these kind of scenarios, and I don't even know what I was talking about there really. So there'll be a 6th option here, and then if Ninja Kiwi adds a 7th one in, then obviously the stakes would be raised, and sometimes you would only interact with a boss every 2 months or so at that stage. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. I don't know what that outro was, but it's an outro nonetheless. Thank you all so much for watching. Please use my creator support code, and in particular, if you use my creator support code while purchasing the fast track thing, in which Ninja Kiwi will add to the store whenever it is in the store. I think the store itself is going to have a completely different layout. So like it's more or less going to be in squares rather than a scrolly thing, which we have going on here. So that'll be pretty nice. And I saw some visual changes as well, in particular for like Jerry's fire looking a little bit different in update 45. I don't know, I'm not lucky enough to get early access, otherwise you would have seen a video right about now. But I think update 45 actually is the exception, where I think Mac and Rules has been given early access for the first time. Maybe I'm hallucinating, I'm seeing something, but it's not there. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone, and take care of yourselves.